Welcome to the Winning Sometimes show, where myself, Matt, Clint, and Emiliano talk about all things gaming and tech, and just honestly kind of talk about whatever we want in between because we will get off topic. So buckle up, that's what you're in store for. All right, so we have a little bit of an interesting show coming up here. As you can see, Clint is not necessarily in his normal recording location, unless you're listening, in which case it will sound like he's not in his normal recording location.
Nope.
But we will touch on that a bit later. So, suspense, foreshadowing, I don't know, whatever. I failed literature. Um, but first of all, Clint and Emiliano, how are y'all doing today?
I'm good. I've survived. I'm in California and I've survived the storm. Some areas where I live got hit pretty hard. Like like neighborhoods of homes got washed with mud, and they're still trying to clear out the mud out of the homes and everything. But all right, we're fine. My wife was a little worried. We didn't get sandbags or anything because I don't want to have to deal with the aftermath of trying to get rid of them afterwards. But yeah, I mean, we have good drainage. We were fine,
Glad your house didn't
but
wash
like
away.
driving home, yeah, no, nothing washed away. A branch fell, and so I had to get the chainsaw and cut that out. But like driving, around before the storm, people were pulling the side of the roads and were like digging in the sand dunes, filling their sandbags and everything. Like lots of people. So I feel like the anticipation of a big storm was worse than, well, at least for us, than the actual storm. The worrying beforehand. So
That's good.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Dang.
But how you doing, Clint?
Doing good. I'm at PAX West 2023, and it's really fun. It's way bigger this year than I saw. I'm not trying to look cool, but I am. This is like the only
It's
good
just
light in the area.
unintentional.
Yeah, unintentional cool. But yeah, it's way bigger this year, and it's kind of cool. Like I know last year it was a lot more opened up, um, but this year there's like no COVID like restrictions or anything. You don't have to sign in. You don't have to have proof of vaccination. So it's like it's way bigger, and there's a lot to do. It's pretty cool. I'm here in like it's not called the atrium, but it's kind of this big open area. Um, the convention center is like a campus. So PAX only used to like rent part of the convention center. This year, I think they're actually in everything. So this building is like seven
Wow.
stories of just full expo hall stuff, and it's nuts. Like there's a full floor for tabletop tourneys. There's a full floor for console free play. There's panels for another floor. There's Expo Hall 1, and then in another building where they normally have it, there's Expo Hall 2, where there's indie games, and Larian Studios from Baldur's Gate developer, Baldur's Gate 3 developer is here. Uh, so it's kind of nuts. Nintendo actually rented out like 30% of the entire convention center for the Nintendo Live. Uh,
What?
I don't know what to call it. It's not a presentation. It's actually like a mini E3 and it's all Nintendo. It feels almost like an E3 Nintendo section. So that was super surprising. They're running it separately, so you have to get tickets for that too. Thankfully, like you get in a drawing for them, and I did get tickets, so I went, and I got to play Super Mario Wonder, and that was cool
That's
and really
that's the
chaotic.
elephant one?
That's the new Super Mario. I don't know when it's coming out, but it yeah, it's very similar to the Wii U Super Mario's, and it's crazy. It's multiplayer. I got to play it with like a Japanese couple who like spoke very little English, and but they were having a blast, and I was having a blast. It was it was pretty fun. We're all figuring it out together. But yeah, it's
That's awesome.
yeah. It's going well. I am super kind of tired because I walked like 20,000 steps yesterday, and I'm just like, it's day two. Yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit not frazzled, but all over the place. So having fun.
Because, like I said, that's kind of what this show is anyway. So that's fine.
That's fair. That's fair.
No, that's I am super jealous. I wish I was there. But there'll be other conventions. That's fine. So
Yeah.
I am also doing okay. The biggest thing, unlike Ronan, I'm having the exact opposite problem. I've seen rain once since April. It's been like 40 plus Celsius here for almost 2 months. Well, we did have like one day below 40. It's been miserable. But other than that, I'm doing okay too.
But wait,
So
40
weather
Celsius
problems.
sounds
Yeah.
so cold. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's basically
It's like
triple
100.
digit at that point for those of
Yeah,
you
it's like
who
104 or something like that Fahrenheit.
yeah, it's been hot, which isn't like uncommon. For those of you who don't know, I'm in Texas, and so like 100 plus days are not uncommon here. The problem is we don't normally have them for like 60 days straight, and normally it also cools off at night, and it is not doing that here. So if it's like 100 and it's getting like to like 110 during the day, and it's only cooling off until like to like the low 90s at night, and it's
Yeah,
been awful. So
that's nuts. Yeah, we just had a huge rain. I almost said rainstorm, not like California, but we had like 3 days of just downpour, summer rain, um, which I really enjoyed because it was PNW rain, and that is like refreshing. But now it's back up to 90. So
yeah, yeah, which is pretty warm for y'all, right?
not anymore, sadly. I mean, it's about average summer temperatures now, like high 80s, low 90s.
That stinks.
Yeah,
As someone who comes from a warm climate, yeah, it's not the funnest.
right. It does cool down
Hey Clint,
after the summer, though.
hey Clint, can I ask how
Yeah,
is the? I mean, I've never been to PAX,
yeah,
so I've been to other conventions. How is the cosplaying out there? Like, are people dressed up? What are they
yeah.
dressed up as? Because I don't know
I saw an
what.
Asterion from Baldur's Gate 3 earlier. That was pretty cool. There's lots of Mario characters because of the Nintendo Live participation. Um,
So
it really is
okay,
like a part of PAX. So it's like mini PAX within PAX. You need Nintendo tickets to go in Nintendo, but you have to have a PAX pass to get into the convention center. So lots of people coming for Nintendo Live and then cosplaying as like, I mean, I saw a Daisy and a Luigi and a Mario on the way in. There's not been any big ones, so it's not as big as like Comic Con, where you'll get people with like
yeah.
mech suits and like 100 Master Chiefs and things like that. Um, yeah, I can't really remember. I mean, I would say like 1 out of 20 people are in cosplay, but it's like I said, not as big as Comic Con.
So PAX is more of like a video game convention.
Yeah, I would say so. It is like E3, what E3 should have become after the industry changed after 25 years.
Hmm.
Low blow for E3, but yeah, it is a celebration of gaming in all forms. I think you've got a ton of tabletops. You've got Magic: The Gathering tournaments, which I actually am going to join one at noon. It's going to be my first time playing Magic. Thankfully, it's like the sealed deck version where they just give you a sealed deck and you have to read it.
Oh,
So we'll see how that goes. I'm not a fan of
those
like
are fun.
real life microtransactions, which is a super snobby outlook on the game, but maybe I'll have fun. Hopefully I don't like go bankrupt after this because I had too much fun. Um, and I missed the Dominion tournament, unfortunately, which is my favorite tabletop card game of all time. Um, which makes sense though, because they only have like 20 people, like 20 slots for it, because the deck size, like the full set, is like literally like a briefcase, like a giant storage briefcase. So having more than like 5 or 6 of those is probably a logistical burden. Um, yeah, there's a huge indie showcase usually, and then what used to happen is because I've been going to PAX for like 6, 7 years now. There used to be a lot bigger of like game companies here. Like Bungie used to come every single year. I got to play, I think it was Forsaken early, which is the Destiny 2 expansion Forsaken, which is like 2017 or 2018. So
I don't know. Yeah.
it like both used to be a lot more like E3, but then is again a lot like E3. But there's just more of an emphasis on gamer culture in general. There's usually a lot of panels. Like I got to see Girlfriend Reviews Q&A panel. So that's a
Oh
YouTube
yeah,
channel. They're hilarious, and they showed up
they
to
are.
actually their first in-person Q&A panel, so that was fun. And trying to think of other things, but they have panels like on. Last year I went to one on accessibility in games. It's actually I'm thinking about panels I've been to because this year the panels aren't that strong. Um, Today is the second day of the convention, and the first panel I'm actually interested in is at like 3 p.m. So last year I was like, there's like every single hour there's 2 or 3 panels that I was wanting to go to, and I had to choose which one to go to. This year it's a lot more lax, and I think it's because of
Hmm.
the emphasis having switched back to like gaming and having more game companies show up. So yeah, I got to play. There's lots of demos, like the indie showcase. Pacific Drive is a game, if you've heard of it, is kind of like a post-apocalyptic. It's not driving simulator. I think it's like a delivery simulator. But you are in the Pacific Northwest after the apocalypse. You're driving like an old um,
Like a station wagon or something, or
station wagon. Thank you.
sedan.
That station wagon is the word that I cannot remember for the life of me. So you're driving an old
It's
station
because you don't
wagon.
have kids, dude. You don't have kids.
Well, that's
You
also an
know.
80s car. They don't have station wagons
No, there are
anymore.
station wagons now.
Wait, really?
I'm pretty sure there
It's
are.
called
Yeah,
a
like
Subaru
the
Outback.
Okay,
yeah
but that
yeah
yeah, that's more like outdoorsy. So I
It's a
never thought about
crossover.
it. Right. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. See, I've got a reason. But yeah, that one I got to play for like 30 minutes, and that was fun. Um, it's like
So is it basically just like Death Stranding with a car?
so there wasn't I think
No.
it's too early to say, because what I did, what I got to play through was you're at like a broken down, gas station, like Resident Evil 2 or something, where you're at a gas station, it's out in the middle of nowhere. You have a Volkswagen, or sorry, station wagon, and it's like broken down. So you have to like pick up tools and then repair it, and it kind of introduces you to like the like object mechanics, because you can take off the panels of the car, you can swap them out, you can take the engine out, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of customization in the future, but really you just had to put everything together and then drive away. And then there was all kinds of like weird Area 51 style like catastrophe like effects. Like there was like lightning popping up out of the ground. There was like entire sections of the earth like rising. So you had to like drive around to get around the obstacles, and then you had to pick up these like plasma cells and like put them in your car. So it was like kind of a Ghostbusters like thing. Like like I really can't think of the word. It's a very simple word. It's just like mechanical things in your car that you can put the plasma cell in, and then that's all I got to play. So I got to go around. I didn't make it because I was still
Okay.
like kind of exploring, um, but I got
I
almost
mean, you
enough
you kind of
plasma
had me
cells.
sold with you sold me at customizing the car. So that's where you had me.
Yeah, yeah. it was a super early build. I could tell like it was pretty choppy, and the graphics didn't seem very finished. So like it's definitely, they said it's coming out in Q2 2024, so that should be something to look forward to at least. Um, I was planning on playing more games today. I did a lot of walking around, mostly panels. Um, I did try to go to a streamer meetup, but I was too antisocial, so I walked out. So maybe I'll go to the
Wait,
Destiny
which
game
streamers were
community
there?
meetup
Like
today.
which streamers are you trying to find or see?
No, so it wasn't. I don't think there were any big streamers there. I think it was just a meetup for
Oh,
streamers to meet other streamers. But
oh,
I showed up like
gotcha,
20
gotcha.
minutes late, and so everybody was talking in groups. And so I walked in, looked around, everybody was talking, everybody was engaged, and I was like, okay, I am not confident enough to break up anybody's current
I'm
group.
out.
I'm out.
Nice.
But maybe I'll have more social skills next time. But there is a community
So,
Or
meetup
well,
for Destiny game later today, so I might do that. I just
you
haven't played it in a
absolutely
year.
should. And
yes, I was
uh,
saying, do you even play Destiny? Like,
I yeah. Look, I don't like the FOMO of Destiny. Like I've got so much to do nowadays, like with the channel and with streaming and with just like creative projects in general, and then work, like full-time job, and then hanging out with friends and playing the games that I want to play offline. Like I don't have time for a game that wants to grab me and tie one of my arms behind my back and then tell me to, build a car or something. I don't know. That's a bad example.
let,
That's a bad, probably doesn't make
you
sense,
don't
but
need a you don't need another full-time job that is a video game.
exactly.
but I will say, in Destiny's defense, that they have changed a lot of the systems where you're not constantly having to regrind every season.
That's
Um,
good.
the
That's good.
stories are actually decent, and they're not too long.
Well, so that's
Um,
exactly the
I've
problem,
come to
because the only reason for me to play nowadays, because their loot structure and their guns, like you cannot get a Gjallarhorn style or Whisper of the Worm style gun anymore. Like there is no loot to seek, as far as I understand.
Well,
And the
all right, hang
PvP
on.
hold
We can
on.
I'm gonna cut this off before we get too deep in this because
Yeah, yeah.
I can see
okay,
Ronan like gearing up to be the
confident a bit,
Destiny
yeah.
apologist here.
There's an exotic playlist where you get to go play old exotic missions, and they're all craftable now. So when you get them, you can craft them,
So
and the
so
more you run
Emiliano,
them, the more. Anyway, sorry.
so kind of staying on topic but moving. So you said, and correct me if I misheard this. You've been to conventions before?
I have, yeah.
Okay, what conventions have you been to, and kind of like what was your experience with those?
So I think the biggest ones that I've been to would be the San Diego Comic Con, and it's awesome because it's kind of like how you're saying, where like the whole convention is set up for them. They have the floor with all the vendors. They have another floor with like all the different comic producers, movie producers, whatever. They have panels in the back rooms. They have giant, like when I used to go, they have like a movie premiere, something movie related. I think
Oh,
nowadays they
cool.
don't do that as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Kevin Smith was there, I think, for Dogma when I went one year, and he had a panel up there, and it was fun and great. Um, I think I was there for the Halle Berry Catwoman
Wait,
movie that
really?
came out. that was
Like
that
a
was
premiere?
a long
Halle
time ago.
Berry was at Comic-Con?
Well, yeah, I think in the past they've had some kind of bigger name stars showing up there to show like premiere trailer or whatever,
Oh,
and they have a
wow.
panel talking about the movie. But I don't. I feel like it's not that anymore. I don't think they do that as
Yeah,
much.
I bet they go
I haven't
digital a
been.
lot more.
Yeah, I mean, and there've been conventions around my area, like small like comic conventions or whatever. But those, I take my kids to there, and we all we do is spend money. Like they don't want to go to the panels. They don't want to go meet the artists. They just want to go look at the toys and buy something. And it's like
Um,
$100 ticket to get in, plus $50 for whatever thing they want. So I'm like, all right, no. But I eventually I will take them. My first ever convention that I had the most fun at was a Star Trek convention, and this was like a long time ago. But like Patrick Stewart was there in a panel,
Oh
and it
yeah,
was
yeah.
great. Um, this was back when Deep Space Nine was still around,
Oh
and
wow.
I kind of you guys ever seen Deep Space Nine?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
See, I watched the first two seasons and then I stopped. I kind of want to go back to it because I keep hearing
I
just
yeah.
great things about it.
It is a great series. I had the same thing going on, but it was more like at a certain point they got into some like meta religious, like scientific, like anomaly kind of thing with some of the cultures in there, which I don't know. It just was like a little bit less Star Trekky than I wanted at the time. But everybody tells me, especially my Star Trek diehard like friends, they're like, you need to go back and watch the whole thing. It has
Yeah.
aged really well.
So yeah, that's what I would say. It is not, for those of you who have not seen it, it's not as like idealistic as like the first couple iterations of Star Trek were, like the original and TNG. And I also think it's hard to get into if you're just gonna watch like one or two episode. I think like just the individual episodes are weaker, but across the seasons I think it's great because it does explore those sort of things. It's kind of it was the first attempt at Star Trek being kind of a little bit darker, and things like that, and being more real world applicable, and be like, yes, we are not in this utopia that Gene Roddenberry envisioned, unfortunately. So I really liked it, but I'm also kind of a dark person, so it may be that.
Well, I read or I was reading that Deep Space Nine was one of the first shows to do like story arcs. So we have 3 episode story arcs. Because before they just wanted a one and done and not have it be interconnected. And I think Deep Space Nine was like the first, or if not one of the first shows where it had like a three
they
episode arc,
they
and it
did it a lot
pioneered
more.
this.
I think TNG did 2 episodes. They'll have a next
But
time or to be continued, but
At most,
not
yeah.
because I
not as many as three.
yeah, but I thought TNG did it after because Deep Space Nine came out in the middle. I thought of TNG or something like that because
Yeah.
Worf was there,
I think it was the
Picard
No,
end
was
of
there with Cisco at
TNG.
the beginning.
yeah, TNG was basically over.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's solid. Like, and that's also, I think, and I can't believe we're on like a Star Trek tangent here, but like TNG, I really like if you just want to pick a random episode out of TNG, like
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's what I like about it. You can just pick up an episode. Whereas like with Deep Space Nine, yeah, if you come in like in the middle of an arc, or whatever, you're like, what? Like this episode sucked or whatever. There was, I was in the middle of a story already and I got no resolution. So yeah,
Yeah.
you do have to kind of watch like starting with episode one and just go through it.
Yeah. Because I heard the Dominion Wars were excellent. I'm like, God, I want to watch that. I want to watch it. So, but yeah, so Star Trek convention was my first, and it was awesome. I mean, it was nerdy, it was geeky. O'Brien was there. I think I got his signature on something or whatever. Um, there was also like a tall guy that always played like the giant aliens, and I think he was in one of the horror movies or whatever. I forget what his name was though. Shoot. But yeah. So I've been to conventions, but mainly centered around comics or I guess science fiction. I've never been to like a video game centric one. Although I kind of want to. So
Sorry, that
Yeah,
was pretty distracted because there was a pair of Mario and Luigi like rapper style. They had like the whole full bucket hat and tracksuit and bling, and someone saw them and just had to clap, and they were like busting up laughing over there.
you should have invited them over and gotten a selfie with them so we could see them on screen.
That yeah, you'll have to come and do that next time.
Well,
now
actually, I want to ask a question about cosplay later on, but I guess have you guys been to any other conventions? Well, I know you're at one right now, Clint, but how about you, Matt?
So a couple of years ago, I did go out to PAX West. Sorry, I had to remember which direction you are. I did go out to PAX West with Crack, and I'm not going to say that Emiliano, ditched us, but he didn't show up. And so yeah, I did go out to PAX West. That's by far the biggest convention that I've ever been to. I've been to a lot of smaller local stuff, like for instance, uh, there's a college in town that has their convention every year, and it's a little bit different vibe because it's, I mean, obviously primarily college kids. It's a ton of fun. It's similar to kind of a PAX style deal where it's mostly video games, but there's an area for board games. There's they normally have like indie comics, some people that show up for that and things like that. So it's kind of all across the gamut, similar to how PAX would be, but it is mostly focused on video games, and that's been a lot of fun. There's actually a small, I don't remember who's putting it on, but there's like a small convention that's going to be in town this month that I'm going to miss because I'm traveling for work, which is really kind of
Oh,
upsetting, but whatever. Yeah. And so, um, so yeah, I mean, I honestly think, out of all the conventions I've been to, I kind of enjoyed PAX the most. And I think that's
hell
also
yeah.
just because, well, hang on. Not, I don't think that has a whole lot to do with PAX. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to knock PAX. I just realized what I'm saying. I'm not trying to knock PAX in any way. It was fantastic. The convention was great, everything like that. But it was the first convention I had ever kind of gone to with a group. Um, like every time else I'd been to a convention, it had kind of been something that was, within like driving distance of me. And so
Right,
like I would
spur of the
drive for like an
moment. I
hour.
could go there.
Well, not even necessarily spur of the moment, but it's just
Okay.
like I would drive there for what I wanted to see and then drive home. And like it wasn't like when, where I travel halfway across the country, I'm staying in a hotel right next to the convention and like just walk there and like my entire weekend is dedicated to being at the convention.
Yeah.
And like every other time, it's been like, oh, the convention's going on this weekend, and I would drive down there, kind of enjoy it or whatever for a few hours, and drive home. And I wasn't with a group. Like I may have some friends that were attending too, and we may run into each other, but it wasn't like something that was a group of friends. Hey, we are dedicating our weekend to this or anything like that. So, which is 100% what PAX was. Because when I went to PAX, um, you know, Crack was there. And I don't want to say anyone else's real names, but Crack was there, Slider was there, Click Clack Clout was there, and we all kind of hung out and would we walked around freaking Seattle for hours looking for a place to eat because it was
Dude, yeah.
pandemic times, yeah, and nothing was open. So yeah, that was by far like the most fun I've had at a convention, and not to peer pressure, but to peer pressure. Myself and my wife both cosplayed for that one, and
Yes.
we actually brought Crack a costume. I don't know if you remember that.
What did you bring him?
So my wife and I, we both dressed up as guardians for, oh, you've got it, that's amazing. And so yeah, so I don't, if y'all are watching the stream on, like, yeah, it's got the little ghost on it from Destiny. So we both dressed up as Destiny Guardians, and then we had told Crack we were gonna bring him a costume, and I know that was freaking him out the whole time. So he was like, "Oh, you have to dress up. We're bringing you a costume," and that was
Yeah.
his costume. We brought him a mask with the ghost on
Oh,
the
it
side
was
of
your
it.
ghost. Yeah.
So how long did it take you to make your outfits? Because I remember I saw pictures of them and I thought they're pretty good. I mean, it like because you didn't have like full armor, but you had pieces, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, so that's one of the issues with cosplaying not locally is you have to get your stuff there. And so we did have armor, um, And so, but it's got to be able to fit into a suitcase, an ever shrinking suitcase. And then you've got to be able, like, because if it gets damaged, en route and everything, you've got to be able to repair it. So there's a lot of like things to think about when cosplaying on the other side of the country. But yeah, we had Harmer actually, and I think I have mine like up on the shelf there. I'll grab here in a second. But yes, the answer is a long time. It took a long time to make. That was something we started months before we got there. I mean, obviously we're not working on it every day, but like, yeah, there's a lot of weekends dedicated to making the armor.
What materials did you use? Because like I watch cosplay videos on how to make stuff, and they're using resins, they're using like moldable plastic sheets and stuff. So I don't know, or at this point they're 3D printing. I think is a huge thing now in the cosplaying community. What did you guys use?
Okay,
Oh,
so for those of you who can see, this
Hey,
is um, God, I can't remember what. It's not Kydex. It's a thermoplastic, is what it is that I've painted, and so you can see, like, basically you heat it up, and then you can like mold it. And so I
hmm.
made all the feathers here and everything. But if you turn around, it's like just this, like, it's a thermoplastic. So you heat it up, you mold it, all that sort of stuff. Um, and so I think that's, I want to say Warbler, but I can't remember if that's right or not. Yeah, it is Warbler. So yeah, it's Warbler. It's a thermoplastic. It's really good. My wife made hers out of like EPS foam, basically like the foam mats that you would buy to put on the floor and things like that, like the puzzle mats, which is a super common cosplay thing because it's flexible, it's
Yeah,
moldable, it's sandable,
it's
um,
paintable.
and yeah, like it stands up to travel fairly well. So yeah, but it just takes a lot. Like, none of it is hard. Like, if you're considering getting into cosplay, like, I would say, one, don't pick something hyper complicated for your first cosplay. Be Mario or Luigi or something like that. Um, but like, realistically, just do it. Like, you're gonna have, like, if you don't enjoy the process of crafting, like, don't do it, because you're not, that's 90% of cosplaying is building the costume. And so, like, I really enjoy crafting stuff. My wife really enjoys crafting stuff, and so that was a blast making all the stuff. And then you get to walk around and everyone asks for your picture. And so if you're not into that either, you probably shouldn't cosplay.
Well, then let me ask this then, for Matt. If you go again, who would you want to cosplay as?
So when I go to PAX West again, and both of y'all are there as well, we're gonna have to figure out what we can be a 3-man team of.
A
And
group.
so yeah,
ooh,
we're gonna have to do a group cosplay. So is the thing. So yeah, I don't know what 3-person things we could go as. I'll have to think about that.
The Three Stooges.
Just send me your
Steve,
measurements, Crack. I'll make your costume.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah,
I do
I'm
not
gonna have to
have.
think about that.
I do not have the mental makeup for doing cosplay. Too self-conscious,
Yeah. So
and for
here's the
for
beauty.
various reasons.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Here's like also the beauty of cosplaying is, if you want to cosplay but you're like self-conscious about things, there's so many characters that wear masks,
Yeah,
and
that,
like you can just, like, no one will ever know who you are
that
if you
hides
don't
your
want them
face or
to.
whatever.
Except your friends who are with you.
Just be like me and don't have friends.
Yeah.
Ugh, you say you were at PAX with me. Okay. Uh, no, yeah,
But does it
yeah.
have to be
It's a
video
thing.
game related, or can it be like movie, comic? What do you think? Like,
So
At PAX, yeah,
I
you could be anything.
okay,
and I think that's pretty much any convention. Like, if you want to do it, you definitely can. Um, and like, obviously there's points for creativity. I remember um, when I went to PAX, there was this one chick, and she was obviously dressed up. I had no idea what she was dressed up as, and I was like, hey, but like she was in a group, like, hey, can I take y'all's picture? And so I took the picture and everything like that. And then I straight up asked her, I was like, hey, I have no, like, I know you're cosplaying, but I have no idea what you're cosplaying as, because she basically had just guy, like, I can't remember, like a wool cap on, and like some suspenders, and she had apparently hurt her leg at some point because her leg's in a cast, and so she's on crutches. And I asked her, and she's like, "Oh," and I'm not gonna be able to remember his name. She's like, "I'm from Newsies. You remember like the kid that like had a peg leg in Newsies or
Oh,
whatever?" And I was like,
Newsies.
"Okay, that's creative. That's pretty
That's
good."
awesome.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, there's no requirements on anything. Like, just dress up as what you want to go as. Obviously, if you're going to a comic book thing and you dress up as something comic, more people will recognize you. So there's just that.
I was trying to think, like, if I were solo at a convention, what would I don't know what I would dress as. Like, Destiny's the easiest thing because I've been playing that game for so long, but I'm just like, I don't know if I want to go as a guardian. I don't know.
Yeah,
And again, this is taking into account the time, the money, and the resources and the skill to actually make a decent looking costume. You know, um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Master Chief's always been part of my history, but and it'd be kind of cool to walk around because for Master Chief, you'd need to get like tall shoes to be taller or whatever. That'd be kind of cool.
so, how tall are you, Ronan? I don't actually know this.
Like 5'10", 5'11".
Oh, okay. So you're like tall. Um,
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I don't know. That's average, maybe. Is that tall?
okay, so like I'm like 5'5", which is like 165 centimeters for people who use like the real measurement system. Um, and so I'm fucking short. And so, um, and I'm actually going to segue into like our next thing here, but like, don't
Wait, wait,
let
wait,
your
wait. How tall is Clint?
I thought I was 6 foot, and I was 6 foot in high school. I don't know anymore. I would have to measure myself.
and I
Say
think
say
that's
you're,
like 190 centimeters,
say you're
Yeah,
6 foot. That's fine. Okay.
yeah. What it
maybe
says on my driver's
195. I don't
license.
know,
Although I did
but
recently get a pair of Hoka shoes, and the heel on these things are freaking huge. So it probably gives me a good inch or two. So I might be 6 foot wearing them, maybe a little more. I don't know. But
okay. So we're gonna have to figure out something where there's two tall people and one short person. But Um, no, but what I'll
uh,
say is like don't let like your stature like dissuade you from cosplaying as someone as you want to cosplay. Like one of my favorite costumes that I saw was there was like five guys that were all cosplaying as
Wait,
Misty from Pokemon.
wait, from what?
you guys see that cosplay down there?
Misty. I
Mm,
see a street.
I
Is
see
someone
the
cosplaying
street.
as a car?
I see people
There,
walking across the
there's
street on a bridge.
there's some yeah, across the bridge. They're wearing like some kind of armor with huge pauldrons and these weird like thigh protrusions. It looks like some kind of Samus.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that'd be
We
pretty
we,
awesome.
we can't make it out from here.
Oh, okay. Well, seems that there's more elaborate cosplay today.
Yeah, no.
Nice.
Um, kind of. I want to get to your point, Matt, but kind of as a separate point, thinking of cosplay, thinking of figures, thinking of Warhammer, Krakenfall. If you can demo that new Warhammer Space Marine game that's coming out, I think it's like Space Marines 2 or something like that, and let
Mm.
me know how it is. I've been hearing good things. It'd be great if you could maybe slot that in
I,
if it's there.
I don't know. I don't know if they're here. I'll have to take a look.
No?
I'm gonna
Okay.
hit the demos again because there's two different buildings where they have a full expo hall, which is more than normal. So I've
Hmm.
only been able to like walk around and get some footage of it, and then I played Pacific Drive, but that was it. Um, uh, isn't that out? I thought that was out already.
Not yet.
No.
No.
Okay, maybe there's
People have
They
played it.
previewed
reviewers
it.
doing it.
Yeah, there were some
Okay, okay.
reviews.
No. There's no reviews yet. I think they're early gameplay stuff, but
Yeah,
it's not
they've
out
got
yet.
because Shillup reviewed it.
But it wasn't a review. It was an early access thing that he'd gotten from them. Like it's not actually out yet.
Oh,
Well,
okay,
no, but
okay.
yeah, sorry. He got like a preview copy or whatever. He
Yeah,
did
yeah,
play the game. Sorry,
yeah.
that's kind of the distinction I was trying to make there.
I would totally play that because it's a 3-player co-op. That game looks awesome.
I have it on my wish list. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm now getting to Warhammer. There's an animation called Astoris, Astoratus.
Astartes.
I just saw it, dude. It's so good.
You had never seen that
I'd never
before?
seen it. No, it's like what 10 years old now,
Yeah.
but it makes me want to play Warhammer more now. And I guess the guy that did it is now Warhammer hired him to do their animations and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. Well, I'll tell you the depressing story of that a little bit later.
Oh
But
no, it's depressing. Dang it.
I mean, it's corporate Games Workshop BS, so whatever.
Oh, okay, okay. So I'm
Mm.
sorry. What was your question that you were going to ask before I kind of
So,
segued into Warhammer?
yeah, where I was gonna go with this is because like last time we talked about like what we're playing currently. That's kind of we talked about it for a minute. So, um, because I know you said you didn't know what you wanted to cosplay as or anything like that. And you're like, oh, I played like Master Chief is really important in my life, and like those sort of cosplays are awesome. But also, if it's just like a flavor of the month kind of thing, and it's like you're just enjoying it at the time, that is also very viable as a cosplay. Um,
Yeah.
and a lot of times you can do stuff very simply. So like I guess we're gonna transition just a touch. Like what games are you currently playing? What are you into right now other than Destiny,
Oh,
Emiliano?
dang it. Well, here let Mr. Krakenfall PAX East PAX West answer
Why?
because I need to think about
Well,
that.
while you try and think of an answer different than Destiny.
That is not Destiny.
I am playing. I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3. That's like the only thing I'm playing. It's really good. I've never played D&D, but it's very good. The I think the reason why it's so good for me is because I don't mind that combat style. Like I wouldn't mind the turn. So Baldur's Gate 3 is a turn-based combat that is based off of D&D combat rules. So you can supposed to be able to do anything, and you have a bunch of stats that can determine how successful you are at those things. So it's turn-based. You have the enemies get a turn, you get a turn, and things like initiative, your initiative stat will determine whether you go first or whether they do, whether you're surprised or anything like that. So like I can tell like very deeply it's D&D, but I actually wouldn't mind it if it was more like Mass Effect because like the story and the characters. You have a party of characters. They all have their own backstories. They all have their own issues, and you are all kind of bound together by this this magic plot where they've stuck an implant in your eye, and it's gonna like do some magic transformation in a certain amount of time, or it should, but it's not. And so you're all trying to figure out why and get it removed, and you're trying to find somebody that can remove it for you. So it like you're all stuck together as a party, and it just feels a lot like Mass Effect and Dragon Age, and like I love it. It's back. Like the reason those games were good at the time, it does that and better. It's like modern. Um, Plus, it's very like creatively enabling. I'm a powder keg like pyromaniac. I carry multiple
I
powder
saw the
kegs.
short.
Yes. Oh well, that was funny. I That's a different thing where I was playing with my buddy, and whenever we play games together, I always like lure him next to explosives and then set them off. It's great, and I did that. But I always carry like powder kegs, like 2 powder kegs per party member, and then when I get into a hard fight, I'm like, "Is it time to pull out the powder? Is it time to pull out the explosive barrels? I think it is." Then I'll run over to them, drop the barrel, run back, set it off. Um, but you can do any number of things to solve the fight. And sometimes there's like a more involved encounter mechanic where like maybe there's some water on the ground and you can like electrocute it and it'll like electrocute all of them. Maybe maybe there's some environmental things that you can interact with during the fight to like gain advantage. It's very engaging, so much so that I was playing with my buddy and it was going too slowly because you each control your own character and then you can assign what the other NPC party members go, like who controls them. Uh, and so it was just everything was just a little bit slower than I wanted. So I started my own character and like tried to use party members that we weren't using because there's a big cast. There's like 9 party members, I think, not including the player character, or 8. That might be too much, but um, it's there's so much replay value. Like even in my solo game so far, there's so much that I didn't experience the first time. So it's Baldur's Gate super awesome. Starfield just came out, but I'm here at PAX, so I can't play that. I have it on my laptop, but I just haven't had time. I want to
Wait,
start it up.
it's out if you paid money to play it.
Yeah, so you can't do
That's
the
how
thing where
most
you
games
have
work.
Yeah.
Well, Game Pass is on the 5th. On Game Pass, I am
Nope,
paying,
Game
and I'm
Pass.
going to play it on the 5th or the 6th, I think.
You can play it now. So what you had to
Wait,
do
what?
is you have Game Pass, and then
Yes.
you pay $30 for the premium edition upgrade. So
Yeah, but I don't want
if
to.
you have Game Pass, you didn't pay for it, right? You paid your $10, $15 subscription,
Yeah.
which goes towards a bunch of other games too. So for me, that was enough justification to pay for the premium upgrade. It's like I'm paying them $30 to play the game early, and I get the premium content edition, and I get to play the game, regularly. So I don't know. Maybe that's not a hard. Maybe that's a hard sell for some people, but I did get it. I can play it. I just have been in PAX.
Let me bring a little context to my statement though, because I paid the Ultimate Edition for Diablo 4 to play
Oh, I'm so
early,
sorry.
and I
I'm
don't
so
think
sorry.
it was worth it. I
No,
mean,
it wasn't.
it's fun. I enjoy it, but just it's a live service game,
Yeah, we
and
haven't touched on that since our last episode. I I got pissed off by Diablo. Like I was enjoying it until the end, and then it was just you hit a wall of non-progression, and there's just like no content. So like this one thing, if you turn the faucet down to a trickle on in terms of like progression and builds and like experience to like do your builds and customize your characters. But when you do that and then you just make the person play the same content over and over again, it's just I can't get past that. With something like Destiny, because Destiny did that. Like full disclosure, I am a hypocrite. Destiny did that 100% back in the day. But Destiny is like Halo on steroids, and Halo's fun. So Diablo is a point and click cookie clicker simulator. Like it's nowhere near as engaging and fun as Destiny. Yeah. I'm sorry you spent that money.
I am too. I mean, it
Sorry,
is
that wasn't a
fun.
very sincere.
No, I'm
Sorry.
not. I mean, and I think that goes back to the thing with like live service games where like I swore I wasn't gonna, because like I do buy the Destiny packs because it comes with the seasons, and I usually play the seasons.
The season passes, yeah.
Yeah, the season passes, but like paying extra to play early, it was not worth. In the
No.
end, it
Yeah,
wasn't worth it.
they're
So
really milking it for what they can, for sure.
yeah,
At least
but
it's not as bad as Fallout
Starfield,
76.
yeah, I feel like Starfield has more value for what they're giving, because they're actually giving you
Well,
stuff.
let
You know?
let's wait until people have. I'm gonna say let's wait until a few days before we decide if Starfield is worth the money.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
There
yeah.
are some
And
concerning
let's get back
reports
to
that I've
what
heard.
games we're playing. So, other than Baldur's Gate, I have been playing some games because I've been going through a bit of like slump, I guess. Like it's hard for me to get motivated to do anything. It's related to ADHD like treatment. I'm trying to figure it out, and it creates gaps in my executive function, so I can't be motivated to play certain games. Like I have a huge backlog, like Dead Space remake and frickin'
Oh
Ratchet and
yeah.
Clank just got released for PC. Like there's a lot of games I want to play, but I just can't be motivated to play them. Um, like I have time on the weekend and I can't play them. So I have these filler games that I've been playing that are pretty insanely fun. Like Dave the Diver was a huge one. I actually 100%ed that one because it's a very like small loop and there's lots of things to do and it's just a very chill experience. Um, you're which I won't go too much into it, but you're a diver for a sushi shop in like Beirut or something, and or Belize. It's centered around the big hole, there's like a giant like hole in the ocean floor somewhere in Belize, and it's named after it. But and that one is pretty cool. Crab Champions is a super responsive FPS where you're a crab and you're fighting other crabs, and it's like high mobility. You've got double jumps. You've got uh, what's it called, slide jumping, which is a common like FPS FPS mechanic, like movement mechanic, and so it was just like hyper FPS gameplay, and it's like a horde mode shooter where you have waves and waves of enemies or levels. You go like do a level, there's a bunch of waves of enemies. You do another level. It's a roguelike as well, so you have runs that you do, and you're trying to like get to the end to win a crown. That one has been really fun. Um, Inscription. I played that on my channel, but it's a card game, and it's really good. And it's heavy on the spoilers, so I won't talk too much about it. It's 100% worth it, and there's there's an extra mode called Casey's mod that you can just play the game afterwards and unlock like challenges and difficulty modifiers and stuff like that. Um, and there is kind of like an end to it. Like once you unlock everything, you're done. But I played that. Like I couldn't get enough of it after I played it on the channel, so I just played that mod until I beat everything. And that is so worth it. I would like Inscription is such a good game. I would 100%. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing for the last weeks. What about you, Matt?
So, um, for me, there is okay. So I'll tell you the game that like I've kind of recently got back into, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it because it's Divinity 2, which
Oh
is basically it's by Larian. It's
yeah.
the game they put out prior to
It's
Baldur's
the
Gate 3.
same.
It's
Yeah.
yeah. So when
Hipsters
everyone
Baldur's
started,
Gate
because
3.
I've been playing, yeah. So because everyone started playing Baldur's Gate 3, and I was like, you know what? I never actually finished Divinity. I'm in like Act 4 of 5 or something like that. I'm like the very end of Act 4. And I'm like, you know what? I should actually probably finish this. So I've been kind of casually playing it to finish it. And it's a good game as well. It actually goes on sale on occasion. So if, you don't want to wait like the year before Baldur's Gate goes on sale or something like that, check out whatever it is I just said, Divinity 2, right? The other games that I've kind of played, which have been super fun, one of them is super fun. I think it was last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. I played Phasmophobia for the first time with
Hey,
Crack, and yeah, like on his stream and everything like that. Which it was fun. Like, don't get me wrong, I had a blast or whatever. However, I 100% went into it blind. Somebody bought me Phasmophobia like a year ago or something like that, and I've never played it. And I had told Clint, I'm like, whatever, man. I'm not looking up any guides. The only thing I've ever seen is like Clint play it on stream. That's my only exposure to Phasmophobia ever. And so like I just jumped in and I was like, I really should have looked up some stuff because apparently a new update had just dropped, and like I'm like, I
bunch of
I
things
don't know what
changed.
anything
Yeah.
is like. Yeah, I'm like, I've seen Clint play this before, but this doesn't look the same. Like, what's going on?
Yeah,
But it was a
which it's
blast. I really enjoyed it.
Phasmophobia is a game about, if you've seen like Ghost Hunters on like the Discovery Channel after
Mhm.
they turned into, whatever non-educational content they had, but like where people would go in and try and find out like if the place is haunted, that kind of thing. It's based around that kind of thing where you have to go into a house. You are like ghost hunters or like a investigative team or something, and you go to a haunted house and you have to figure out what type of ghost it is. And you have a bunch of tools. You've got like an EMF radio or an EMF detector to detect where the ghost is like causing like electromagnetic interference or something like that. You've got salt, or you can put down salt to see if they'll walk through it. You've got candles to see if they'll blow them out. You've got like some of them make sounds, so you can bring in a parabolic microphone and like to like detect if the ghost is going on. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can detect the ghost, and depending on what they do and certain types of evidence, if they leave ultraviolet fingerprints or something like, or fingerprints that you can detect under ultraviolet, uh, you try and narrow down based on the evidence what type of ghost it is without dying, because the ghost will become aggressive after a certain amount of time, and it also depends on what type of ghost they are. So it's super fun. It's super kind of like round based investigative thing that is also kind of spooky, and you can totally get jump scared. But like it, once the ghost starts hunting, all your flashlights start flickering, and you have to like not run because they'll hear the footsteps. You can't talk because it uses your microphone to detect and process what the ghost will do based on your talking. And so it's really immersive, fun experience.
Yeah,
Are
I
you playing more?
I highly recommend. I don't. So yes, yes ish. It's definitely better with a group. Like is the
Yeah,
answer for sure on that. Like so if you have a group of friends that play like absolutely it's a fucking blast. Um, and because they will end up getting you killed. Not gonna like call crack out in any way, shape, or form, but he definitely told me he's like, okay, yeah, like the hunt is over. The ghost is not hunting you anymore. You can come out now. And so I got out of hiding, only to be instantly killed by the ghost. So
the yeah
yeah,
the
but
hunt
it's
started
it's
again,
a it's a good
which can
game.
happen.
Um, but yeah, other than that, the only thing that I've played is I booted up Super Smash Brothers for like the first time in probably like a year and a half last night, and I
Which
played some
version?
Super Smash Brothers, and the one on the Switch. Is that what you're
Okay,
asking?
Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, which version?
Brawl. Wait, Brawl is the
I don't know
Wii
whichever one's on the Switch. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have that's the only Nintendo
Ultimate,
device I
Ultimate
have.
Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yes, yeah. And so yeah, and that's I mean, I'm terrible at it. I couldn't remember any of my moves or anything like that. And so I mean, I was always bad at it, but now I'm just even worse. But yeah, I mean, it's Super Smash Brothers. It's fine.
Yeah,
So,
I
all right, we
I,
have
I,
stalled for as long as we can, Emiliano. What you have you been able to think of a game other than
Yeah,
Destiny?
okay. So I'm not playing, so not
you
Destiny,
didn't just
not
play
getting
another game
exotics that
other
I'm
than
missing.
Destiny while you were waiting, did you?
Well, hold on. No, 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 no. So I was playing Diablo for a bit with the new season, but I kind of, I've gotten bored of it. Let me tell you a quick little story, right? A game, for a while, I was really into Nier Automata, right? And the creator, Yoko Taro, he ended up releasing a gotcha Japanese mobile game called Sino Alice, right? So I
You and
started
your
playing it.
Gotcha.
Hold on, hold on. So there's a PvP game mode to it, right? I end up joining a clan or a group to do this PvP mode. They have a Discord server, so I joined the Discord server.
Oh,
They're
cool.
cool. I'm cool. They introduced me to some other games, so I started playing a game called Princess Connect Redive, and it's fun. It's cutesy, whatever. That game recently, about 2-3 months ago, ended its service global. Japan was still going
Really?
on, but globally ended the service. And recently, Sino Alice, about a month ago or a week ago, said they're ending their service in about like a month as well. So because of money, whatever. So the guys or people, I don't know if they're not all guys, but the people in this server are playing the Japanese version of Princess Connect. And they've convinced me to join them in the Japanese version of Princess Connect. So right now, I am
Oh, I'm
playing
sure that was a
Princess
hard
Connect
sell.
Redive Japanese. I can't read a damn thing. But I know enough about. I know enough to kind of go through there.
Or is that
I'm also
kanji?
playing a game called Nikkei, which is okay. It's a guilty pleasure. It's basically modeled lady robots shooting guns, and you see them from behind, and they're jiggling, whatever. I don't know. Not all of them,
You're
but enough. But they're having a Near Automata collaboration, so I'm playing that because of the Near Automata collaboration. So
Maybe we should have just let him talk about Destiny. Is really what we
yeah.
should
I
have done
told you.
here.
Oh, and
Ronan, you're a wee bit. I love you.
well, God, I can't think of the name. Honkai Star Rail. I'm also playing that too. That's a fun
Oh, is that good?
turn-based. It's Genshin Impact people. MiHoYo. It's really good. I
Yeah.
enjoy it. The combat's fun. The characters are fun. I remember the problem you had with Genshin was that the installation client on the PC required some sort of access you didn't want to give them.
Yeah,
I
kernel
don't know if it's
level.
the same
Yeah,
with
Colonel. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's the same with this, but the mobile version of it's fun and it's turn based, so I'm not having to deal with as much of the Twitch crap on the phone that's harder to do with Genshin.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I'm enjoying it.
Speaking of
Um,
Genshin Impact, the voice actors are all here. They're doing a community meetup or a community Q&A panel, which is
if you get any,
same
if you
time as
can
something
get a
else.
code for Honkai Star Rail, get me that code, please. I want some Primo Gems. I need
I will.
those Primo Gems.
I gave you Primo Gems last year, Ronan.
But that's a year ago. I need more. They have new characters coming out.
More. Okay, if I see
More.
a booth for Genshin Impact and they've got handouts, I'll get one for you.
But that's what I'm playing. A bunch of mobile games and not Destiny. I stopped playing Diablo. It is fun, but just the grind. I'm tired. I'm getting tired of grinding. Like just playing just to level, to be at level to do things. I am hating it.
Well,
Hating
yeah,
that.
right now the reward for leveling is getting to play more to level up more.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Like there's no
I'm not saying that Destiny is doing this, but some companies have implemented a new system where when you play a content, you're always going to be 5 levels under, as opposed to requiring a certain amount of power. Now, no matter what power you are, programmatically, you're always going to be 5 levels under, so the enemies will always do that much more damage because of that, or 20 levels under, depending on if it's a higher thing. So
which at that
instead of
point,
being
what's the level? What are the levels for? Like in Destiny
which there
1, there
haven't
was
been.
right. In Destiny 1, there was kind of like a regional power change where certain areas were more difficult than others in patrol. And then there was also like the nightfall things. But now it's so homogenous where like everything, I don't know. We're talking about Destiny again.
I was saying in general, some systems are in place that do this, but yes,
Yeah,
Destiny.
what are the levels for?
Well, and
So
they haven't had a power increase in 3 seasons now, 4 seasons, so it's been nice not having to grind out stuff to do nightfalls or whatever. So,
all right, so because I know I don't want to keep Clint from going to any of the panels or tournaments or anything like that he might want to, so we're gonna go ahead and try and wrap up with our last thing here real quick. Is there any game coming out that you are looking forward to? And I guess we'll throw it to Clint since he may have seen something new at PAX.
I'm gonna go with the cop out answer and say Starfield. And Starfield's coming out very, very soon, as we talked about. But I honestly I don't look forward to games anymore. I mean, like I do. Okay, that's actually all I do. I only look forward to games. I don't really get hyped for games anymore. It's like a
Yeah, yeah.
self-preservation, like emotional isolation kind of thing to make sure that I don't need anger. I don't need like frustration and like grief over video games. And so I just don't engage. And then when a game comes out and it's good, then I'm happily, I'm pleasantly surprised. Um, I think
I
it's
I
kind of
I,
a
I will say
two-edged
if
sword.
only I was gonna say if only Clint had done a video on this exact topic that is actually about 18, 15 minutes long. That's actually a pretty good video to watch. I don't know.
I
That would
talked
have been
about
a
it with
great
Breath of the
thing.
Wild. There was a game that came out that was
Yeah.
like the exact opposite of Breath of the Wild because it's like everybody was so hyped for it, and I wanted for Breath of the Wild, everyone was so hyped, and I wanted to be hyped as well because like I wanted to share in that feeling, and I knew it was going to be good, and I was going to enjoy it, and I did. I really enjoyed it. There was a game recently that came out, and everyone was kind of meh on it, but too many people were hyped.
Redfall.
It might have actually been Starfield.
Oh,
People were
I hear a
getting
lot of
hyped for it.
PlayStation fanboys are upset about it.
Are they?
Yeah, because it's not
I
coming
don't
out on
know.
PlayStation.
Oh, well, yeah. Sorry, guys. Once Last of Us comes to
Yeah.
Xbox, I don't even have a PlayStation.
True.
I got PlayStation. I got frustrated with PlayStation because I bought PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3 eventually. I didn't get it at launch because it was so expensive, but I have got the last two PlayStation consoles to get the exclusives, and they ended up going like mostly unplayed other than those exclusives, and that's just not worth it. So I kind of hate exclusives like
Yeah.
a lot. And so with Xbox
And I feel
like
like that could be an
releases
entire show.
it could. Like exclusives are so dumb and like it's just not worth putting
Deep,
all
deep
your
breaths,
chips in
Clint.
one
Deep
basket.
breaths.
Yeah.
I mean, they still get the money in the end, so I don't see why they get more money. But
Yeah.
like
I
Stray
guess
just came out on Xbox, and I thought, isn't it doing well? Or it came out Game
after
Pass?
a year or year and a half, yeah.
Yeah.
It just took a long time. I am appreciating that Sony's releasing more things to PC, but like Sony has just blue balled us for so
Hold
long
on.
on
Oh,
so
we
many
lost
exclusives.
Ronan.
Yes, we did.
Sorry,
Oh,
my
he's
PC was running
what?
out of battery, so I had to go turn the battery on or the switch on.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So, um, Emiliano, is there anything you're looking forward to that you've recently heard of or is coming out soon?
There's two games that I'm anticipation that I'm waiting for. That Warhammer Space Marine 2, I really want to play. I'm very excited about it. And then another one that I am very excited about is Monster Hunter Go, or Monster Hunter Now, I guess.
Now,
It's
yeah,
like Pokemon Go.
I just found out about that today. Wait, oh, is it a
It's like
mobile game?
Pokemon Go. Yes, it's like Go. You go to locations and you fight monsters basically, and I guess you can use the pieces to make yourself armor and stuff in the game. I don't know, but I'm interested because it's a Niantic still.
Is it out?
Um, Not yet. It comes out end of this month, I want to
Oh,
say.
that would have been perfect to play while I
I
was
have
here
not
at
heard of
PAX.
this.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and
That would have been so perfect to play at
that
PAX.
sounds pretty good.
yeah, yeah. So
I would have tried it.
back when I was beginning Monster Hunter Go during the pandemic, me and the kid would be biking around to places to go do raids
Oh,
and
Pokemon
whatever.
Go.
So now, yeah, yeah. So now maybe Monster Hunter now maybe we'll do the same thing with Monster Hunter. We'll see.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
So
yeah. I had
those
a
are my
crew
two.
that I
How about
ran with
you?
Pokemon Go
Oh
with,
yeah.
and that was so fun. But it's over now. Anyway, over to you, Matt.
So, well, now I'm excited about this Monster Hunter Go or Now or whatever it is. I'm gonna have to check that out as soon as we're done here. But literally last night, I found out, and I'm also jealous that there's the Nintendo thing and I'm not at PAX because last night I found out that Nintendo is going to be re-releasing Super Mario RPG, which was absolutely one
Yes,
of my favorite games.
as a
And
remake.
so yeah, I'm
It's not
super
just
excited
re-release; it's a
about that.
remake. It's a full remake, or I should
Oh yeah,
say, it's not. I don't think they're going to change too much about the story. I
remastered.
hope they don't. It's not remastered because they're not going to use like the old assets. It's like it's going to be 3D isometric. It's like Link's crap. What's the one? What's the Legend of Zelda game where you're on the island and there's the egg volcano with the not Link's Awakening.
I I have Link to the Past. Is that what you're talking about? No, no,
No,
no.
maybe it is
I don't
Link's
know.
Awakening.
They all run together to me.
Yeah, there's a recent game where they remade it and it was like from pixel art or not pixel art but like pixel type
Oh,
game.
the original Zelda, the very first Link game. That's the one that they re-released with like the 3D graphics, but still isometric.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that style
See,
and
but
I'm so excited for it too.
that's Super Mario RPG. I say remastered because like yeah, from what I understand, they're not really changing the mechanics, the story, anything like that. And in the because I apparently this is also one of my wife's favorite games, and we both found out last night because her brother told us, and I said I'm like, oh, I hope they don't change anything. And she tells me like they better not. It's a perfect game. They better not ruin it. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I know it's not going to be as magical as it was when I was a child or whatever. But like, I really, really enjoyed that game. I really enjoyed turn-based like RPG on rails kind of stuff. And so yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. And that's I mean, because I don't really keep up with new games too often. I wait for them to go on sale before I get them. So, but yeah, like Super Mario RPG, like absolutely, I am looking forward to that.
Forgot about that one. They announced that at the
All right.
last Nintendo Direct, and it was so interesting to hear that they were doing that because I haven't played Super Mario RPG. I've seen it played, like I've watched a playthrough of it on YouTube, and it's very very like personal. Like it's got plenty of personality. There are so many characters that aren't Mario and Luigi and Yoshi and Peach that are in the game. So it kind of there is a sorry, I can't think of the word, but like basically with the Paper Mario games, so the first one was Super Mario RPG, and then the Paper Mario games, they had more story, and they would kind of expand on the characters of Mario, of Toad, and they would have unique characters. The Toad people were like an actual like race, and so there you could have different types of Toads, um, who all have different personalities. You've got Koopas, you've got like it was a much more vibrant character world or like narrative world. And Nintendo has slowly kind of like constricted that, and they have slowly killed out that kind of personality from their games. So, like you cannot modify Mario. Mario has to go Wahoo. You have to like it's been rumored and then confirmed that Nintendo has become very strict with how you can use Mario and like their main franchise basically and its IP. So like the fact that they're going back to this original high personality, high narratively driven game and putting the time and effort and resources into like into remaking this game, it's exciting. Like hopefully they relax uh, the narrative like constrictions that they put on the franchise. It would be cool. Well, I gotta go because the Magic tournament is filling up,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
getting
I understand.
texts and buzzed
Oh,
all over the place. Um,
good luck.
there's
Yep. All
there's
right,
like 2,000
that's
more
our show,
people here than
guys.
there was. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Good luck, dude.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thanks for tuning in, everyone. You know,
Bye-bye.
stuff will be in the description. Click on it. Do those things. Subscribe. Bye.
Yeah, subscribe. Bye.